Bryce. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Start off on a good foot. Just fake it till you make it.
It's St. Patrick's Day.
Yes, it is.
That's pretty cool.
So that's pretty cool. I have a slight red tint to my beard. I need to find out if I have Irish in my blood.
Ancestry.com. You can now do those DNA things.
You can.
I'm always mildly curious. I'm always mildly curious, and then I remember that it costs money to know things about yourself.
Whoa.
And I become less curious.
Maybe one day when we have the money, we can.
We should do it.
And find out all the wonderful different things we are.
Mm-hmm.
But no.
I'd like to have. I'd hate to have one of those stories because I've been told what my heritage is, but I'd hate to have one of those stories where I do the DNA test and find out that I'm not actually.
You think you're this, and then all of a sudden it's I am 5%.
Yeah. Well, I'm supposed to be Norwegian. I know that I am. It's just I'd be interested to see what kind of percentage, because the village that my great-great-grandmother is from actually has mine, my sister's, my cousin's birth records in it, because they have the birth records and death records of every member of family from people who are from this village. So one of my bucket lists is to, I don't know the name of this village, I'm sure it's someone in my family does, but to track that down and see my name in that list. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
But I'd also hate to find out that I'm only 6% Norwegian or something. Because if you look at my sisters and I have my natural hair color, which I never do. But if you look at my sisters and I, we all started very blonde-haired and blue-eyed. And obviously our eyes are still blue, but our hair color has changed over and over again. But we're blonde-haired, blue-eyed, yeah. We're very Norwegian-based.
Yeah, we don't really have any stuff like that. The most we got is the Waterman's Book, which is a list of the families here in our city, since we're very southern and...
It's very Austonian, too.
Austonian?
Yeah, like Jane Austen. In the people that were... If you were worth anything, they were literally books that printed basically like meat markets for men, where it was your mother would have this book and it would have every eligible bachelor and how much they had made a year, what their heritage was. Think somewhere along the lines of ye old Tinder, but your parents are doing that.
Oh my goodness!
You were in this book.
Well, yes, sort of, because you a lot of things you'll hear around here is who are your parents? Who are your grandparents? Mm-hmm. And as soon as you say the oh, of course I know them, and then you're automatically associated with them. They're like, you're all right.
You good people.
You good people. They good people. You good people.
Mm-hmm.
So, but no, I don't really know much about anything too far back.
It's all very documented on my father's side. And when I was in elementary school, we did a family history kind of unit. And so we tracked that. And on my dad's side, it is pretty documented. Not records or anything, but there's stories and, oral history. My mom, in her words, we've been poor white farmers since we came over. We'll continue to be poor white farmers. So, pretty much that's what it is. My mom is British. Now, my mother is not British. That would be super awesome. But there's British heritage. We came over to Virginia. Now, the cool thing is that there is documentation on both sides of the family that I am part of the Daughters of the Revolution, American Revolution. Now, granted, on my father's side, Dr. John Aldrich came over from London and then was promptly garrisoned onto a prison ship because he was a doctor and the American Revolution was happening. So he was kind of important and he became a POW for the rest of the war, and that's pretty much it. On my mom's side, I know that there was a tavern in Williamsburg that we owned at some point. And this history is that we still have a chair that was sat in by George Washington himself. I don't know how much I believe that, but I want to believe it so bad, so we'll just leave it at that. It's like there's a story on my father's side of the family that we are Norwegian royalty.
So you can honestly be a Disney princess.
Yeah, I am a Norwegian princess, very far removed. And the story goes that the female that we are descendant from fell in love with somebody she was not supposed to fall in love with and was disowned. Which is sadly why I'm not actually royalty. But it's nice to believe that I'm a Norwegian princess, so I choose to believe that I'm a Norwegian princess. And cross that with on my mom's side, before they came over from England, they were shipwrights, and they would build a ship, and the ship would sail. And then that night, they would sail out and destroy the ship, so that the people would have to come and get their ship built again. So I'm pirates on one side, and I'm a princess on the other. So I'm a pirate princess. Just putting it out there.
Swashbuckling in an evening gown.
I could do it.
The frills would get in the way a little bit, though. You'd have to make some modifications.
No, a true princess would just learn to bear it.
Okay. You do that.
I mean, I wouldn't be able to climb any masts or anything, but I could fight somebody, I think, with a rapier and an evening gown. I'd be willing to try. I'd be willing to make a fool of myself, but I'd be willing to try. It would be fun.
Yes. As one of the things that we will do when we get to that point where we go out and try all those different activities.
Yeah.
One of them will be we will learn like fencing or whatever, and then we will fence in like all dressed up. You in an evening gown, I'll be in like a suit, and you'll
have an advantage in a suit. You'll have to wear tails at least.
Sure.
Because otherwise you have nothing to hinder your expedience, except for the shoes. The shoes might be a bit of a trouble.
The shoes will be a bit of a trouble. Well, I can always make it so that there's not a lot of bagginess. I can make sure that it's nice and form-fitting. Therefore, I only have a certain range of movement. Unless I want to rip holes in my pants.
There we go. Opposite problem that I will have is too much fabric, still limited movement. Yes. I like it. We shall meet on a battlefield.
Absolutely. In 3 days' time.
Whoa.
3 years' time.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness.
Well, we were racking our brain as to what to talk about today. And I think we decided that we would do a Q&A episode. We don't have any Q's. So we went to the internet.
The interwebs. Onward to the lovely questions that are absolutely deep and meaningful. And
yes, these are serious. The thought-provoking questions. See, I asked some of these questions already. I told Bryce, I was like, I have some hard-hitting questions that I needed to know. So we've known each other for like 2-3 years now? 2 years at least?
Almost 3?
Yeah, almost 3 years.
It's been about like 2.5 because I'll have been working at our lovely place of employment for 3 years in November.
Yep. So yeah, it's almost been 3 years.
Yep, almost 3 years.
So, that being said, there are some things I still don't know about you.
I'm a mysterious fellow.
You are.
I was called mysterious one time. I was.
I mean, I don't distrust it.
A friend of mine, her stepmother, said I was mysterious, and I was like, "Why do you say that?" And she said, "Well, you don't really talk much." I'm like, "That does not make me mysterious."
Mysterious always makes me think of like men in capes, and masks.
I mean, like with me, mysterious is sort of like they have that sort of like charm. They ebb and flow, and in conversations, it's sort of like
you can never concretely pin down what they're saying.
Yeah, so they have sort of like that, just vague enough to where they can hide what they're really saying or what they really mean, and you're like trying to find out more, but they just dance around your questions and stuff. That to me is more mysterious, not just being quiet. That just means I'm antisocial.
No, I wouldn't use the word quiet, and I certainly wouldn't use the word antisocial. I would use the word reserved.
Well, thank you. Makes me sound so sophisticated.
That's what that is the intention, because I always feel like when you do talk, it is always important and it should always be listened to, as opposed to some people that just prattle on and me. I was talking about me, not you. Put your hand down, me.
Like I
just say stuff because I can't listen to silence.
I thought that's what this whole thing.
I mean, this
was supposed to have meaning. This was supposed to have meaning because honestly, I feel like we just walk into this, we spew nonsense from our mouths, make a semi-coherent thought, and just roll with it.
Well, darn, you just boiled it down to the least common denominator.
I wanted to be truthful to our listeners. I don't want them to think that this is something
provoking.
No.
No.
Don't get me wrong. I would love for it to be provoking.
I shall meet you in 3 years' time.
Absolutely. In 3 years' time, we will be provoking.
Hear, hear. Oh my God, we are talking to our future selves right now.
Future selves. Hopefully, you have more money than we do.
Oh, please, please have more, not less. I don't know how it's possible to have less, but please have more.
Yes.
Please make something of this. Please.
See, I make something of yourself, future me. Doesn't even have to be this. Just something. Do something.
Your rosebuds while you may.
Just I want you to look back on this and be like, it's okay past me. I did it.
We got you covered. All right, on to the important thought-provoking questions.
Yes, hard-hitting.
We've dallied long enough. The world needs to know. Bryce, cake or pie?
Yeah. Yes, cake or pie.
And don't say multi-layered again.
It is very... It depends. It's not...
Depends.
I'm not just like, I'm always going to take cake over pie or pie over cake. It's very dependent on what the actual cake or pie is.
I agree.
So, because, if it's like you're offering me carrot cake but apple pie, I'm going to take the apple pie because I'm not a fan of carrot cake. But if you offer me chocolate cake versus, I'm trying to think of a pie. I don't eat a lot of pie. So I would have to say I'm more of a cake person.
Uh-huh.
But of course I'm definitely not against eating pie because the people can't see me, but you can, and you don't get to this much by being picky.
It's true. So. I never turn down nothing. Well, that's not true. There are some things I don't like, but I will try everything once.
Oh yeah, no. And I usually try things like if it's been a while since I've had it, I'll try it again. Just, taste change and everything else. So I'll give it another shot if it's been 5-6 years. Mm-hmm. But what about you? Cake or pie?
This is a very complicated question. I do not like pie. I don't like the crust of it. So, Thanksgiving, we don't have pumpkin pie. We have a pumpkin pudding, which in my opinion is the best part of pie. So, if you wanted to make me a pie, but not put it in a crust, and just give me the center part, I'd be happy. The only exception to that is maybe cheesecake, which I don't know where that falls for you. It's called cake, but you serve it in a pie graham cracker crust, so... crustless cake? Crusty cake? I don't know. But anyway, cheesecake's probably the only thing that I like with a crust. I don't like the crust in pie, so I don't like pie. But I'm not much of a cake person. My desserts to go to are brownies and cheesecake, and when you put both of those together in a cheesecake brownie, watch out. But I'm not much of a cake person. I like making them, and that's also another thing. I love baking, as you know. I work in the bakery department. I like making cakes. I don't mind making pies. But I don't like to eat what I make. Mm-hmm. So that's also another thing. It's if I'm going to make it, somebody else needs to eat it. Which suits my family just fine. But so, if you said cake or pie, my first thought is potato chips, please. I'm more of a salty than sweet craver, so.
I understand that.
I got another one for you.
Alright, what is it?
I've got a whole bunch of this or that's that I want to go through first before we get into the actual conversation. Although we just had a conversation about cake or pie, so who knows?
Yeah.
The first one, I think I already know the answer to, as the listeners can hear them now. Dog or cat?
Dog. I have no issue with cats. I do have a slight allergy to them. So if I'm going to...
They got something with you. They got an issue with you.
Yeah. So if I'm going to interact with cats too much... No, I can interact with cats. Cats are fine with me. It's just for some reason on like a base level, their DNA is just like, we're going to attack you. Like, it's not them personally. It's just... So if I'm going to interact with cats, I do have to take some allergy medicine beforehand just to kind of prepare for it. But I'm more of a dog person. I mean, don't get me wrong, cats are just as loving as dogs. But that's what I grew up with, is dogs. So.
Me too. Dogs. I, again, have nothing against cats, but cats don't prefer me. So, I have a theory about why cat ladies are cat ladies. And it's because you get one cat, you want it to love you. It doesn't. You get another cat, and it doesn't. And you get another cat, and so on and so forth. You get a dog, it loves you unconditionally. You don't got to get another dog. Now, that theory breaks down because people have multiple dogs, but it's not for lack of love.
Yeah.
You end up with, like, my theory is, you end up with a bunch of cats because you're constantly looking for that unconditional love. Mm-hmm. A cat's not going to give you that. Now, a cat is a lot easier, well, not when you get to the several of them, but a cat is a lot easier to, like, you could leave a cat for a weekend and be fine if you left down food and water and stuff. Like, you could not do that to a dog.
No.
Your dog would have so many issues, and your house would probably not be in the same place you left it.
Nope. The entire house would be gone.
The entire house.
It'd be 3 blocks down the road, upside down.
You joke, but I could see it happening. Okay. Netflix or YouTube?
Ooh.
Yeah.
I've always been a little bit more... I just got into Netflix.
Okay.
So,
yeah, that's true.
My experience is very limited. I do like Netflix. I do like the shows. I definitely like the Marvel shows because we've been talking about them forever on this. But I don't know. I like YouTube because to me, it's just like possibilities. You can find whatever you need, whether it's for entertainment or instructions. I mean, or even advice. It's just like, it's got so much. You can do so much with it, and you can get so much from it. Because before I had Netflix, that's mainly what I did. I have a few shows on TV that I watch, but I watch a lot more YouTube than anything else. So I would have to go with YouTube.
I binge Netflix because it's easier to go on and just turn on something. Mm-hmm. But I really like YouTube because I feel like I'm interacting with the media more when I'm on YouTube. Mm-hmm. Even though I'm a lurker online. Like, I don't post things. I don't add to comments or whatever. I'm trying to change that as I'm trying to also be somebody who creates stuff on the internet. Mm-hmm. But, I always feel like I'm a part of something when I watch something on YouTube. Yeah. And I don't always feel that way when I'm watching something on Netflix until I know somebody who loves the thing that I love. Mm-hmm. Or if I seek that out, like on Tumblr or something like that. So, all right, here's one: cardio or weights? Sure.
Okay. I'll answer. I'll definitely answer. Don't get me wrong. I will answer. But first off, I don't really exercise. I would like to change that. But it is a constant struggle.
Sure, I'd also like $1 million, please.
Yeah.
And while we're at it, let's throw in some world peace. I'm not selfish.
But, I guess I would have to say weights because, I'm just all that running. Mm-hmm. Oh, I am not a runner. If you see me running, and I have said this before, multiple different people, for years, if you see me running, you better run with me, because there are only 2 reasons that I am running. I am either running from a maniac who is trying to kill me, or I'm running to chocolate cake. Both of those.
Cake.
In which case, both of those you want to run with.
See, I thought you were going to say, I'm either running from a maniac or I'm running at you. Either way, you should run.
Shh! I can't let them know that. Yeah. Johnny in my head doesn't like for people to know that that's a possibility.
I have a weird obsession.
I just let people know about Johnny.
With watching exercise videos. Mm-hmm. I like to watch exercise videos. Firstly, under the pretense, like, if I'm not just going to turn on an exercise video and do it. Like, I'm going to watch it first to see if it's something I can do before I, like, put on, grungy clothes and try to work out and then feel terrible about myself. But chances are I don't actually do it. I just watch it. I like the idea of running because I like the idea of free endorphins. Mm-hmm. You don't have to pay for, like, a class or anything or a gym membership. You can just go into the outdoors and go where your feet take you. But neither one. Nope. No. If I had to choose, I would actually, again, I'm always like, door number 3, please, Alex. Because I would like yoga, please. That's neither cardio nor weights, but it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
I prefer yoga.
I've
tried to do yoga. I've practiced a sun salutation several times. It's just a great, simple, like, thing to know how to do. Mm-hmm. Sometimes if my back is aching or if I feel like I need to be centered or whatever, I'll just go through the sun salutation 3 times. You can take it at your own thing. But I wouldn't do weights. If I've looked at stuff like that, strength training wise, I've always looked at body weight exercises. Mm-hmm. So I'm using my own rotundness, but also, building up a, resistance within myself, as opposed to like having weights and buying all that equipment. Because that's a lot of investment into something that we both know I'm not going to do for very long.
I understand that. But okay, away from exercise, since that's not a prevalent theme in our lives.
Oh, here's one that's constantly being battered around in my household. What's worse, laundry or dishes?
Dishes. And I say dishes because to me, laundry is, I toss them in the washer. Mm-hmm. Whatever I need to hang up, like shirts and stuff. Just literally pop it in there, half an hour later, pull out what I need to hang up, hang that up. The rest I toss in the dryer. And then, like, a lot of times, I don't even really fold.
No.
Because I just kind of leave it in my basket and then just pull from there.
Yep.
But even then, the folding's not terrible. It takes a couple minutes. But to me, the problem I have with dishes, and I used to be a dishwasher, so I have experience, is that
I was a dish professional.
I was a professional. I had a business card and everything.
Business card.
I did. I would whip that thing out and it'd say Bryce Furman Professional Dishwasher. It'd have my number on there in case they need a professional dishwasher. Get them plates there sparkly. I want you to see yourself in them. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, the problem I would have with it is, like, if you wash this for too long, your hands are going to get wrinkly unless you wear gloves. And I'm not a big fan of gloves. I know that there's a need for them sometimes. But whenever I'm trying to do something and I have to wear gloves, I always feel like I'm not really holding it. Mm. So I usually try to avoid gloves. Mm-hmm. So then I'm doing dishes without gloves. Well, then the water, you have to get the water just right. So it has to be hot enough to where it's going to help with the dishes, but not too hot bad to where it's burning your hands. That, plus I always seem to get the water all over the front of me, and it's annoying. And if you have a good amount, you're going to be spending like half an hour standing there. Mm-hmm. So to me, it's like, I'll do the laundry because it's toss, sit, grab, toss, sit. It's in total, it's like maybe half an hour, but it's split up. Yeah. So you don't have to deal with it all at once.
Yeah. Those are my 2 favorite chores. Laundry and dishes. Laundry for the reasons you said, because it's a chore that you can do, you can feel accomplished with having to put so minimal effort into it. Dishes I like to do because it gives me a chance to stand in one place and contemplate life. I really enjoy mundane tasks that allow my brain to keep moving.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can stand there, listen to podcasts. Generally, I'll do dishes. Like, I'll start the coffee maker, and then you have to wait for all of it to percolate or whatever. And so, especially in our household where we make 10 cups of coffee at a time. So, I'll start the coffee maker, and then just start doing dishes. And by the time I'm done with dishes, coffee's ready. Because also, if I start the coffee maker and go sit down, I'm probably not going to get up again to get coffee. So if I'm standing there, I'll actually get coffee before I sit down. So those are my two favorites. I cannot stand cleaning the bathroom. Mm-hmm. I would do laundry and dishes over and over again for the rest of my life if I never had to clean a bathroom.
Yep.
Particularly the bathtub. It's not the toilet that bothers me. It's like, okay, it's gross, but it's toilet. The bathtub, though, there's a lot of bending and scrubbing. Yeah. And for somebody who is short, petite, and, you know, equally distant, I don't have, like, extremely long legs and a short torso. Like, I am equidistant torso to legs proportionate. So there's a lot of, like, bending and trying to lean to reach the back wall without actually being in the tub, you know? So I don't really like cleaning bathtubs.
But okay, what's next?
Let's see, blue or red? I don't know why these two colors are on blast, but
yeah,
I just thought that was funny.
That is kind of funny. I mean, I don't really have my room's painted blue. I like blue. I also like red. I mean, I don't really have a preference.
I always have a problem sometimes with this or that questions because I'm always like, 3, please. Mm-hmm. Like, you say blue or red.
You say pink.
Pink.
Yeah. I mean, well, not just that, but to me, it's like, okay, well, what are we saying it for? Is it for my clothes? Because I normally wear black shirts because they're slimming and make me look less fat. Mm-hmm. I do wear blue jeans. I mean, because I like jeans. But I mean, like, are we talking about for a car?
Right.
What red is this? Is this a lighter red? Is this a, like, burgundy? Are we talking about sky blue? Midnight blue? Like, there are a lot of variations of each color that you can go with. Like, there's not enough information. Like, this question would have been better if it was just like, what's your favorite color?
Right. Okay, last this or that one. Ninjas or pirates?
Ooh. It's actually kind of good because it goes into the last episode of anime because the two that we talked about were Naruto, ninjas, and One Piece, pirates. I
have my answer.
You're gonna go with pirate, aren't you? Because you're a pirate princess. You kind of have to go with it.
Well, I mean, I don't get the appeal of ninjas, but that's just me. Pirates are brash. They have the open waters, and their freedom, and a little bit of selfishness. They're all parts that I would, I guess, want in my life that I don't have, is a little bit of selfishness, a little bit of freedom to do whatever I want. Ninjas, to me, what is a ninja? I don't know. It's a spy?
Trained assassin.
Okay, I don't really like violence, so that's out. Pirates are not particularly non-violent, but their not primary concern is not to kill you.
Because you can be a One Piece pirate. So where you don't kill people. If you need to, you can beat them up. But, you know.
Well, historically, they didn't really sink ships because it wasn't good business. If you were a merchant and you were taking a load of cargo and I sunk your ship, 1, how am I supposed to get the cargo? 2, how are you supposed to go and get more cargo for me to steal next week?
Yeah.
Okay, but, you know, are you a ninja or pirates?
I would have to go with pirate too because I'll be honest with you, I'm not the most sneakiest of people. Don't think I could do that. Plus, with where I talked about last episode, I'm more of an upfront fighter, and you know, in true ninja fashion, not Naruto ninja fashion, where that's more mercenary than ninja. You're sneaking around, slipping into places, killing people, and then slipping out.
Now, who do you think would win in a fight?
Ooh.
Ninja versus pirate, because my answer changes completely.
I would have to say ninjas because, first off, unless you literally pit them against each other in an open area where it's just one-on-one fighting, it's going to be a little bit more even then, because you have to take into account that pirates will have guns. Especially, like, if you're going back to, like, classic pirates and classic ninjas, like, pirates are going to have guns. They're not going to be the best.
Well, pirates have a flintlock pistol that... Okay, nerd alert. I know a lot about pirates. I don't know a lot about ships, but I know a lot about pirates. And so pirates only have the pistol as a one use. Like, their first round of action is to fire their pistol. Mm-hmm. And then they drop it. Yeah. And they fight with their cutlass. Because it takes too long to reload. So they might have, like, multiple pistols on them, but that would be it. So, firearms aside, I have to go with ninja as well. Yeah.
Yeah, because the ninjas are trained to fight, and unless the pirates used to be in some form of military, they're not going to have been trained to fight.
And most of them were. Most pirates actually turned to piracy because the brutality of the British Royal Navy was such. Piracy is actually more diplomatic. You're actually... A captain is only in charge when you're entering battle, like when you're overtaking a ship. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, most decisions are made by the collective pirates on the ship. Oh. The captain is only in charge so that there's somebody in charge when you're... to bark out orders to do stuff, but you make decisions. Because in British Royal Navy, if you did anything wrong, you got flogged. And if you did anything wrong, you got keel-hauled. And if you survived any of those two things, you probably were court-martialed and hung at sea.
Okay, then.
The realities of the British Royal Navy were not great, so piracy was a much less brutal, and you were more likely to survive, believe it or not, and you got better pay.
Yeah. Wow.
But that's naval training.
Yeah.
That's not stand in a field, and I'm assuming in a scenario where ninjas and pirates are fighting each other, you have to take the sea out of it.
Mm-hmm. Because you have to put them on solid land. Yeah. Most likely, if they were to interact, it would be like the pirates have stopped into a port, and there were ninjas there, and therefore, then they got into the fight. So it wouldn't be... You would have to take out cannons, the ship, and fighting on the sea to just, really hand-to-hand.
And I only know this because there used to be a show on, like, Spike TV or something where they would pit two...
Yeah, Deadliest Warriors.
Yeah, I loved it. I watched the two seasons that it was on. But ninjas are originally farmers, which is why all the tools and weapons that ninjas use are farming implements, because you could not own a sword. Mm-hmm. So it's fascinating to me, like, that the scenario could be pirates entering a field and just farmers, and you wouldn't think anything of it until suddenly they're ninjas.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Oh no, I love that because I loved how they would take into account all the different technology. They would test them out. And it was really interesting to hear about it. I mean, like with the ninjas, the swords that they had were always like 2 or 3 inches shorter than the actual sheath for the sword. So that way when they're fighting against like a samurai, they're going to get it out quicker. Because they don't have to go as far to actually get it out of. Mm-hmm. So that when they're fighting, it's just and they.
That's pretty brilliant.
Mm-hmm. But yes, so fighting, probably go to the ninjas. As for the, which rather be pirates. I mean.
Yep, I'd rather be a pirate, but I would never want to face a ninja.
Nope.
So.
Nope.
Do you have any thoughtful questions? Those are all the this or that's that I thought were fun. Before we get into my next part, I wanted to see what questions you have.
Sure.
You can be the question asker.
Oh my goodness. Let me see if I can actually figure out a good one here. Have you ever seen Finding Nemo?
Yes.
I haven't.
Really?
Really, I have not seen Finding Nemo. Just, like, it came out, I saw plenty of stuff, you know.
Have you seen Finding Dory?
I have not.
Okay, good. Because I was like, if you watch that out of continuity, it probably wouldn't make sense.
Oh, no. I didn't want... It never appealed to me. It's
well, spoiler alert, they find Nemo.
Oh my god, really? I never would have guessed that would have happened.
Finding Nemo is an interesting, though, you know, Disney, Pixar. Pixar wasn't a thing. It got its money from Disney and made Toy Story. And Toy Story has a lot of critical acclaim. But... What's that? But Finding Nemo is where they made a lot of their money from. Mm-hmm. So they were able to actually buy themselves out from Disney. And that's why you see Disney Pixar. You know, where Toy Story is Disney's Toy Story. But it was done by Pixar. Anyway. So Finding Nemo is one of those where, like, it made a huge name for Pixar. But if you look at it, it's not as great as, like, WALL-E, I think, is probably their best film. It's not my favorite of Pixar's films, but WALL-E is the most imaginative. It is so well rendered, and it hits all of the good storytelling marks. Mm-hmm. My favorite is Up.
Up was really good.
Which I would rank close to it, but it's not as critically acclaimed as WALL-E is.
Note for senior year, the homecoming week, I went as the old man from Up.
Nice.
I did.
I could see you as Carl Fredricksen.
I pulled it off. Yeah, I could definitely do that. I could be the grumpy old man.
Sometimes if my sisters and I are trying to make a point to each other, we'll just go to each other and be like, but it's a talking dog. And that is code for... you should just agree with me because this is a really cool idea. Like, I don't understand what you don't understand about this. It's a talking dog. So, yeah. Another inside joke from the All Dry clan.
What did you dress up as on Halloween when you were 8? Because I remember when I was 8.
When I was 8? I can't precisely say, but around that time, my mom sewed me a Jasmine costume that I then had to wear over long johns because it was Maryland and not that warm out. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, I want to say that was probably around that time period.
I have no idea. I cannot remember.
Okay, well, what are some of your favorite Halloween costumes then?
Let's see. I was a werewolf once.
Nice.
Granted, that was also when I was like, I don't know, 18.
I would say pre-beard or post-beard, because pre-beard was probably a little more difficult. Post-beard was probably a lot easier.
Yeah. No, it was definitely post-beard, considering the fact that I shaved once, actually clean-shaved my face when I was 18. But other than that, I have always had some form of facial hair, because I have a baby face. And while having the beard makes me look about 10 years older than I am,
beats the alternative.
It beats the alternative of looking 12. So yeah, no, I had the beard, and I did, got the fake pointy ears and painted my face all up and all that. Do you know who Kermit the Frog is? I would hope so.
You put the frog in the question, like. Even if somebody doesn't know that he's a Muppet, you just said he's a frog.
Yeah.
Like, unless somebody's like, is that a real frog?
I mean, like, oh my goodness.
Okay.
Oh, here's an obvious one.
Okay.
Would you rather have an American accent or a British accent?
A British one, obviously. That was my attempt at a British accent. That wasn't good. If I watch enough Doctor Who or if I watch enough Downton Abbey, I can do a pretty good British, but...
Yes. Absolutely British, because I don't see the appeal of having an American accent. Because what do you mean by American accent? Do you mean a Southern accent, or do you just mean like a normal?
A Southern accent is what foreign people, when they're thinking of an American accent, go to immediately because it's easier to do. But an American accent is really like a Midwest accent. Like you and I are from two different states, both on the East Coast, but we're pretty much the same accent. We don't really have an accent. And more, that's becoming the case.
I worked out of my southern accent. I do slip back into it sometimes.
When I get really angry or really excited, I start to get a little twangy because my family's from the South as well, so, but generally, I personally have a weird accent where I will over-pronounce certain syllables in a word because in my mind, it makes the more emphasis I put on it is how I can denote what's important. So I just have a weird speech pattern.
We're all weird. So, do you prefer Titanic or The Notebook?
Neither.
I haven't seen either.
I have never seen the Titanic. I was in 2nd grade when it came out, and there were boobies in it, so I wasn't allowed to go see it. But I still have never seen it because I still stand with why make a 3-hour movie about a 45-minute sinking of a ship? It took 45 minutes for that ship to sink, and you made 3 hours of a movie about it. And the thing is, I've actually been to a really amazing exhibit about the Titanic. And so it's not that I don't care about the Titanic. No, I care about the Titanic. I care about the people who died there. Not some schmaltzy whatever romance. And the Notebook I've seen, and of course it made me cry, because it is once the twist, as it is revealed. Spoiler alert. So it's this story that's being told by an old man to a older woman in a retirement home about his younger days meeting his wife. It turns out that the older woman that he's telling it to is his wife, who has Alzheimer's and so doesn't even remember him. But he's still taking care of her. So that's super romantic, and it did make me cry, but I don't go back and watch it over and over again. I do have a few Nicholas Spark movies that are guilty pleasures that are absolutely terrible. But I can't help it. I like watching them. There are 2. Of the 3 or 4 Nicholas Sparks movies I have seen, 2 of them I will rewatch if the mood strikes me. One is A Walk to Remember. It's got Mandy Moore and Shane West in it. And their performances are believable, where sometimes you don't get that. I've seen the Zac Efron one. That one, I saw that as a free movie in college. Theater didn't make it any better. And I saw that Dear John one with Channing Tatum in it. And again, I didn't actually finish that one because I found it too unbelievable. Their acting was not on par. And, I've seen Amanda Seyfried and Channing Tatum and other things, and I liked both of them. But the other one, this is a true guilty. Walk to Remember is actually kind of good. There are moments that are really, really cheesy, and then there are moments that are really, really heartfelt. So I don't feel bad about liking that one. And it's also one of his earlier ones. It's pre-Notebook, I believe. So it just hasn't fallen into the formula yet.
Yeah, no, I've seen parts of A Walk to Remember. I've never watched it outright. But I don't have a problem with romance movies as long as they're good romance movies. I have an issue with
so few and far between are good though.
I know. I have an issue with the massively cheesy ones, and I mean it's just it gets a little bit old. When they're good ones, I am perfectly fine with the good ones, but just not all of them are good ones.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I like 10 Things I Hate About You. I like She's All That, but they're 2 different things. She's All That has not held up well. I like it for pure nostalgia. It's the first PG-13 movie my mom let me see, and she rented it one weekend when my sisters were out with my dad doing something, and it was just us for a weekend. And so it was the first romance movie, the first rom-com I saw, and so I like it for pure nostalgia, not because it's actually good. Not that it's terrible, but it's not great. 10 Things I Hate About You actually holds up pretty well. I think because it's loosely based off Shakespeare, and anytime you base anything even loosely off of Shakespeare, you're at least headed in the right direction. There, I did it again. I didn't say direction, I said direction, so weird emphasis on syllables. But anyway, it's also a nostalgia thing, because it's not great. There are moments that are, like, terrible. There are moments that are good. There's really hard to find great romance movies that are actually great. One that I actually think is actually very good, and it has Johnny Depp in it, and given what we know about Johnny Depp in current pop culture, I'm not sure how well I would, but I go back and forth when it comes to celebrities and the more you find out about them, because the other people in there shouldn't be penalized because Johnny Depp is apparently a douchebag. But it's called Au Chocolat, and it's got a bit of a romance. It's what I'd call, okay, the best romance movies, I think, are ones that don't focus on the romance part. Mm-hmm. They are romantic in that, like, whimsically upbeat, optimistic, like, shiny rose-colored tinted glasses version of romance, mm-hmm. not because, like, a guy meets a gal and whatever. If you were looking for something like Guy Meets Gal, Pride and Prejudice, hands down. Keira Knightley's version I particularly like. There's a YouTube series called The Lizzie Bennet Diaries that is amazing interpretation of Pride and Prejudice. But to me, like, if I'm going for that, I will go Pride and Prejudice route. My tried and true, I am never disappointed every time I turn it on. Princess Bride. It has everything. Mm-hmm. It has romance, it has action, it has fantasy, it has comedy. Like, there is nothing that is not in that movie that one person will not find. I highly recommend it as a perfect, like, first date movie. It's not the first movie that my boyfriend and I saw, but it was one of the later, like, date night movies, you know. Mm-hmm. It was like, he had never seen it, and I constantly quote it, and so I was like, we're watching this movie. It's just, it has a little bit of everything, so you never have to worry about, well, is this going to hit that person's, like, if they don't find it funny, there is something wrong with them. You know, the only thing about Princess Bride that I do not like is Buttercup. She has no personality. She gives you nothing to work with. No delivery, no whatever. And I've seen that actress later in things, and so it's not like, oh, that actress is terrible. Like, no. There's just something to that role that is a nothing role. Now, granted, I think it's because the movie is skewed male. It's skewed to appeal to boys and teens and men. So in those roles, it's like they don't really, and she is playing the typical damsel in distress, you know, so they don't really have to have a lot of character, and it's in the 80s, so the idea of her having a lot of character was not really there yet. So it can be forgiven because there's so many other things going on in that movie. And then I don't feel like it objectifies Buttercup. I don't feel like, I mean, she's a damsel in distress, so she is simply there to be pursued by Wesley. But I don't feel that it is disrespectful. Wesley truly cares about her. Mm-hmm. She's not just like, it's not like a Mario and Princess Peach or Link and Zelda kind of deal where, I'm sure I just pissed somebody off with that, but it's not like I am pursuing you for the sake of pursuing you, for the sake of winning. I am pursuing you because I love you. Wesley loves her, and even after his belief that she has betrayed him, he's kind of going after her for revenge purposes, but he doesn't want to hurt her. And then it all comes out, you know, and it's, super romantic. I mean, even Fred Savage is like, I could stand for the kissing. When you win a prepubescent boy over to listen to kissing parts, you know you're a good movie.
You know, I definitely enjoyed that one, too. I've only seen it once. But
Didn't I make you see that movie?
You did. You made me see it. You're like, you have to see this. And then I went and saw it.
I think because I was trying to quote the sword fighting scene to you, was like, I find that Tybalt cancels out Capello. Oh, I said something like, I know something you don't know. Oh, I am not right-handed. And I thought that you would get the quote, and then you didn't. I was like, God, you have to go watch it. And then, lo and behold, you did. And I was like, yes. Yes. No, I also didn't watch that as a small child. I watched it as a teenager, so I think that makes me it makes it easier to understand. If I watched it as a kid, I'd be like, Fezzik is funny, but I wouldn't really think anything else of it. But then I think as a teenager, you get more of the nuance and stuff out of it.
So I think you had actually some hard-hitting questions.
I don't know about that.
I don't know. You said there was another list.
I had another list of more discussion-y questions, I guess.
Okay. Well, then let's do a couple of those, and then we can wrap this up. I know.
And we can move on. Okay. Well, here's a fun one. What was your favorite childhood television program?
Favorite childhood television program. Okay. I think the first thing we need to do is set an age parameter. Because what technically do you mean by childhood? Are you talking about around 10?
I would mean elementary school age. So it doesn't have to be a specific year, but that range of programming versus middle school, high school.
Favorite TV show at that point?
Or the first one that pops into your head.
I was really into Smallville.
Mm-hmm.
I got into that, and I think that was around 2004.
And how old were you in 2004, Bryce?
10.
10? Oh.
It was somewhere around there when I was because I know it was after my parents got divorced. It was about a year or so.
I graduated high school in 2006. That's why I'm asking.
Oh yeah, that's why. Yeah. So I mean, I was just getting into that sort of preteen type. I was in that preteen era.
Teen dramas.
I found it. It came out before.
Yeah, it was
on for 4 years. It was already into the 4th season. Because
it had started when I was in middle school. And I tried to watch it, but I was too young to understand the high school themes or care.
Yeah. But, no, it was Superman. That's what got me.
Oh, yeah.
But I started watching it, and I actually remember the first time I saw it because I was at my mother's boyfriend's house at the time. And I was staying there with his mother while I think they went to... He bowled or whatever on a league. So they went to there and I didn't want to go. So I just stayed with his mom. And so I was looking on the TV and I came across it and I was like, what is this? And I saw 10, 15 minutes of it. Mm-hmm. But I really liked it. It was literally the season finale of season 4 or 5. And so I was like, this looks really cool. Come to find out I'm going to then be heartbroken in 10th season with the very last episode because they...
Screw it up. Do they?
Yeah.
I've only watched the first 2 seasons because there was a time before Netflix when if you wanted to binge watch a show, you had to buy all 6 DVDs.
Oh, I know.
So
I have 9 out of the 10 seasons.
Do you?
I do.
I am borrowing them from you because I have never finished. I tried to buy them, but when I found them at Walmart, they were $10, $15 a season, and I was in college, and this was a good buy. Yeah. But by the time that I got to season 3, it was no longer in the Walmart, so I've never watched past season 2. So he literally went bad in quotation marks. He went bad and ran away to Metropolis.
Yeah, Red Kryptonite.
And I've never known what happened.
Yeah.
And do you love how when you, you have those shows that you never finish? You start to a certain point and then you never finish. So I coined this phrase. I was talking to my boyfriend about this because we were talking about a similar show that X-Men Evolution was a cartoon show. Uh-huh. And how he has finished the series. I have not finished the last 5 episodes of the series because I realized that they weren't actually going to end the show, but rather just trail off into oblivion. So instead of starting that last arc, I stopped it. So it became Schrodinger's TV show, where it both has an ending
and doesn't have
an ending at the same time. It ended a place that is perfect for me. It can be what it was, and that was it.
I just didn't like the way that they did the last villain. It was too cheesy. For a Superman show.
Oh
no. But no, I have, that's one of the reasons why I never got the 10th season is because once I finished it, I was like, I don't need that one. But no, it is very, very good up until that point. The main thing was the actual ending. But absolutely. Go ahead.
I will have to watch that. And then we can spoil it. Because we spoiled literally everything else we talk about.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm like, no spoilers. I have to know. It's been years. It's, again, one of those, like, if someone spoiled it for me, I wouldn't be upset. Because, like, it's been off the air for years now. If I haven't caught it, but at the same time, like, I try to avoid spoilers as much as possible because I like to approach things as refreshed. So if something is relatively new, I won't spoil it for someone. Or if I find that, like, if I personally am talking to someone and I find that they haven't watched or read or consumed this thing, I won't spoil it for them. But in this particular case of the podcast setting, because you can just pause it, I'll say spoilers, and then you can pause it, and then you can come back whenever you want. So that's going to be the rule, obviously. Up to this point, we've pretty much done that, where we've said spoilers, and we don't leave a lot of space, so you have to kind of scramble for your pause button. But that's on you, babe. You're going to keep your phone shoved in your pocket. You're going to have to find out how to get to that pause. But anyway, so Smallville, you would say?
Smallville was really the one. That's where I first started getting addicted. But yeah, it happened randomly, and then after that I was like, I need to see all of these. So
we've gone over television shows in the past and cartoon shows in the past. Television has always been an obsession with me. Like, before I knew what a fangirl was, I have obsessed over so many different TV shows that I couldn't tell you which one program. Like, you said you got into that after your parents' divorce. The show that I got into after my parents' divorce, that kind of, like, cathartically helped me go through stuff, as cheesy as it is, and as not spiritual, well, a different kind of spiritual as I am, Seventh Heaven. Don't ask me why. It got to, I watched it for like 4 seasons. I caught it in the middle. I caught some shows and reruns. I caught it in the middle. I watched it religiously for 4 seasons. And then it started going down a path I couldn't follow because it started getting too ridiculous. Especially as the kids started growing up and they started like adding new kids so they could keep that demographic. Because they started adding kids that like they had no peripheral knowledge of. You know, it was kind of okay when it was like, this is a friend of a friend or somebody that one of the kids had dated that now needs help. Like, it's still cheesy, but whatever. But then they started, like, just adopting random people from other people. Like, a kid that they adopted that dated this person that they're now going to help. I'm like, okay, that's enough. So I watched some Seventh Heaven. Had a major crush on one of the male leads in the show. I always develop crushes on the fictional characters. I never really develop crushes on the actual actors.
Yeah.
That's always me. It's like, you know, that proverbial list that you have. Most, I think you're supposed to have like a max of 5 people on that list. All 5 people on my list are fictional characters.
What list is this?
The list, okay, there's a list that I heard about this in Friends when I was way too young to really understand what they were talking about, so I thought it meant kissing. It does not mean kissing. But a list of 5 celebrities that you are allowed to bang. Or kiss. Or whatever, cheat on. Whatever. But that your significant other is not allowed to be in trouble for. Like, it's your freebie list. Because in this hypothetical world, you absolutely have a shot of being with that person. If you happen to run into them, you have permission to do this. I roll. But I like the fun, like, conversation that a list prevails. So my list is all fictional characters. Let's see. Top of that list is Jareth from The Labyrinth. David Bowie. Not a bad. The next one would probably be Aemir from The Lord of the Rings. He's a very secondary character, but his fan fiction is epic. Sherlock. Benedict Cumberbatch's Sherlock, not Robert Downey Jr.'s Sherlock. I don't really like Robert Downey Jr. I think we've had this conversation before. And I won't go over it again because people get very irate when I say so. Loki. Loki and Tom Hiddleston are probably the closest that comes to, like,
an actual real life
person, because Loki is hot. But Tom Hiddleston is equally hot in a not, like, he's physically attractive because I like Loki, but he's just such a nice, sweet, down-to-earth, recites Shakespeare, like, just at the drop of a hat can talk about Shakespeare, and he is so charitable and giving that it's really hard not to be like, I don't know where that line ends. So Tom Hiddleston is the closest that gets, but still Loki, because of completely different opposite reasons entirely. It's always the sweetest people that can play the best villains, because they know what it means, to really give into that kind of despicableness. And Loki is, pretty not terrible, he does bad stuff, but you just don't understand him. I can't think of a fifth person for that list. I know there's supposed to be a max 5, but I can't think of a fifth person off of my hand. Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Sam, have to give it a second.
Give it a second. Sam Winchester from Supernatural. And Jared Padalecki is another one that I have, don't get me wrong, I have gone down the obsessive fan train, but I find it a little hinky to do that about real life people because they are real life people that have their lives. I have gone down there with a couple of celebrities and I have stopped myself because I'm like, what are you doing? These are people. But Jared Padalecki is a very sweet guy, and I cursory, liked Supernatural, but then after the whole bit with Always Keep Fighting and his public fight with depression really made me pull back into Supernatural. So of course I became obsessed with it, and I became obsessed with him, and I became obsessed with Sam Winchester, which again, he's okay on the show. He's not a bad character on the show, absolutely, and I get why a lot of people love Dean, but his fanfiction life is so hot. Like, on the show, Dean Winchester, and in the fangirls, Dean Winchester gets all the girls because, he's the bad boy and whatever, but there's a real side to Sam Winchester in the fanfiction life that you would not suspect. There's a whole other page to him, and I appreciate that.
Oh my.
I know, it's getting steamy, but that's my list. That's my list.
Let's break out the ice water, because this is getting a little too hot up in here.
Yep, with all the fictional.
Yes.
Fictional.
Oh my god, I've never actually thought of a list. Don't get me wrong, I can name off,
crashes.
Celebrities that I have been attracted to. I can definitely,
all of those come from fan fictions that I've read, by the way. It's because of the fan fiction that I can find about them, as terrible as that is. Nerd.
But yeah, no, I can definitely say, crushes that I've had, especially when I was younger. But I've never actually sat down and done a whole list. I'm gonna have to take some time.
You have to do it now.
I will, okay.
It's
I can give you a quick little list, just making up right now, and then
do a detailed one.
Do a detailed one next time.
Because I will say, just to interject, my list has changed over the years. There was a time when both myself and my youngest sister had Megan Fox on our list. I've had this anecdote with you before, but and her boyfriend at the time was like, "What? No, Olivia Wilde is so much smarter." And we both turned to him and be like, "She don't gotta talk."
This is not the purpose of this list.
This is not the purpose of this list.
This is not. There would be a completely different list. There an interesting list to come up with in the future would also be a dinner list. People that you would, fictional, historical, dead, or alive, want to have dinner with. Okay, maybe Olivia Wilde would be on that list because she is more conversationalist. However, on the list of people you want to book, who's going to be on that list? Megan Fox does not have to speak.
No. Oh my goodness. Okay, yes. Well, then how about this? I'll give the quick little answer to this now. I'll give a detailed one after I think about it on our next episode. And then we can also do a list of
dinner?
like.
Okay.
Well, I was thinking more along the lines of less like sexual implications for the list and more of like a relationship type thing. Like what type of person would
you want a relationship with?
Yes.
My list doesn't change.
Like, my list doesn't change.
Well, because
I'm good with those.
I'll tell you right up. I've read great fan fiction about all those characters that is romantic and fluffy and all of those things, and I have read great fan fiction that is just smutty. And I am unashamed of loving the smut. I am unashamed of that. But I don't need a relationship with many of those things, and I'll tell you, this is actually more embarrassing than revealing the fan fiction smut part of it. I haven't read a lot of fan fiction since dating my boyfriend, because he is all the sappy romantic relationship I need. And I don't need, like...
That's fantastic.
I mean, like, I couldn't, like, no. I mean, I've got a perfect relationship with him right now. I don't need anything else. He listened to this podcast, by the way, so...
You have to state this.
No, it's more embarrassing because I know he's gonna hear it. Because after the Prince comment that I made a while, he was like, "Oh, you." I'm like, "I know, but it's true." So I'm actually more embarrassed because
oh my
I'm
goodness.
not embarrassed that I feel that way. I'll tell him to his face. It's more embarrassing to now know that everybody knows how much in love I am. But now you have to do it. And I'll shut up.
That was great.
You.
Don't get me wrong, it was so cheesy. I feel like I need to slap a stamp on your forehead that says craft. But that was good. But oh my goodness. I don't know. I guess I've never been one for I'd be the guy for a one night stand. But so I like for all of the women to have some substance to them.
That makes you a stand-up guy, Bryce.
Oh, thank you. Don't know about the order. I'm just gonna start throwing out names. I used to have a large crush on Elizabeth Hurley. Mainly because of Bedazzled.
I was about to say.
Oh my goodness. Let's see. Emma Stone. Emma Stone's really good.
She is.
Yes, loved her in like The Amazing Spider-Man. Oh my goodness. Gwen Stacy. I fell in love. Emma Watson, amazing, beautiful, smart, does amazing things for this world. My goodness. God, how many is that? 3?
That's 3.
Fuck. I got 2 more. God, what's her name? She played on The Newsroom as Sloane Sabbath. She also played as Psylocke in X-Men Apocalypse.
Oh, I don't know her name, but I can see her face.
I can see it too.
So I haven't seen The Newsroom yet.
Okay, this is going to be edited out. But for the next few seconds, I'm going to be looking this up. Olivia Munn!
Sorry, say it again when I'm not.
Okay, Olivia Munn. Olivia Munn. There we go. Because, again, seeing her in The Newsroom, oh my goodness. Just... my heart. Okay, so that's 4. God damn it, now I gotta find a 5th one.
There's several hot celebrities out there, Bryce.
There are several, but it's one of those things of I'm on the spot. There's a lot of pressure.
That is a lot of pressure.
Like trying to remember. Don't get me wrong, there are definitely a lot of beautiful celebrities out there. But considering the fact that I'm trying to pick the top 5 for this very specific reason. Because people can be beautiful, it doesn't mean that you have a preference for that. Just, oh my goodness. Okay, I got this. One more. No. I'm going to go with Scarlett Johansson. And that's going to be on my list right now until I actually take the time to go through it. Because those are the ones that I can think of right now. Because I had a couple others come to mind. Like I went through, like you had said, Megan Fox. Nope. Olivia Wilde. Olivia Wilde is very attractive, but
Tron Legacy had just come out, so she was all futuristic and attractive too. Plus, she was also on House, and that was, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna put a tie until I can think about this more between Scarlett Johansson and Kate Beckinsale. I'm gonna as of this moment, they're at a tie for 5 until I can actually think over this list and kind of narrow it down. So that's where I'm at.
Sounds good.
Alrighty.
So I think we got to know each other.
we got to know each other. Oh, they got to know us.
That's what I like about these kind of questions. Like, all of those were supposed to be, like, maybe 1 or 2 sentences, and then, no, not with us.
No. Why would we take just 2 sentences when we can explain in great detail everything going on in our heads?
Yep.
So, alrighty. I guess we wrap this up. So.
If anybody wants to answer the questions we asked, that I can't even remember most of them right now, but... Yeah.
Oh, definitely the last one. If you want to put up, like, your top 5,
please.
Go right ahead.
Fictional, alive, dead,
doesn't
matter. Celebrities, historical figures. Be my guest. I love hearing about those, because I like to think about who that person is, you know? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, mine is all fictionalized. So, what does that say about nerd me? So, anyway, if you want to put that out, you want to answer, especially the great debate about cake or pie, because that can break a lot of, like, friendships.
Marriages destroyed, friendships ruined.
It's one of
families broken apart.
It's sad but true. But if you want to answer any of those questions, you can leave comments on our Facebook or YouTube or Tumblr at Ancient B, ANCIENT, capital B, or you can tweet at us at Ancient B with 3 E's, because that's how many we had to add to get a new username. I'm Heather, and you can find me all over at The Fae Lady, TheFaelady. If anybody has some cool fanfiction they want to tweet at me, I'd be okay with that. I'm not reading a lot right now because I'm so...
You're living the dream.
Ridiculous.
You're living the fan fiction right now.
I am living my own fan fiction right now. But that doesn't mean that I don't, want to read more. I like to read. I read more fan fiction than I do real books, so how terrible is that? But yeah, tweet at me.
I don't read books. I read plenty of fan fiction.
I get my reading in.
Yeah, fan fiction, of course. Yes, I am Bryce, and if you would like to speak to me, if you'd like to give me suggestions for, who to consider for my list for the next time, please go ahead, send me a message on Facebook. I'll be attached to the page, or if not, look me up, Bryce Furman. Of course, as I say always, I'm unoriginal. Or you can find me on Twitter at bfizzman. BFIZZMAN. But yeah, tell me your lists. If you agree with mine, or if, like I said, if you have people you would like for me to consider for my list, if they're fictional or not.